I just want to document a little bit of how I'm feeling about this weekend. I was in a discipleship program for 4 years. I did online school, as you guys know already. So I was living in Kentucky and I moved down to Florida for this program. I'd heard about it through a friend. She told me that this program really just changes you. I felt a call of God on my life since I was in youth camp. I wanted to do something spectacular. I wanted to travel. I wanted to get out of my small town. So I moved to Florida right after high school. It's so weird to think back on it because as an 18-year-old, I was very immature and blinded. And I didn't really know anybody in this program that I was going to. I just felt that they were good people and just believed that they were good people. So I moved 13 hours away from my hometown, from the place where I was born and raised. I moved to Florida. It was a culture shock. It was growing up and living in Kentucky your whole life. I didn't talk like this back then either. What's this thing called? Electric wheelchair at the Kroger's. Growing up and living in Kentucky your whole life and then moving to Florida, never being around the ocean or seeing the ocean, coming from, the bluegrass state, LA everywhere, to moving and living in between Tampa and Orlando. It was awesome. It was an awesome experience, but it was so different from what I thought it would be, but exactly what I thought it would be at the same time. I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. I have heard stories of people who are a part of this program. I never realized how much my 4 years in this program would change who I was. At the time, I was very immature, I was very self-conscious, and I was a lot bigger. I grew up living in a house full of guys, so moving from a house of guys where I had my own room into sharing a room with 3 other girls, sharing a house with 9 other girls, it was crazy. I didn't have a lot of, I had friends that were girls, but once I got into high school, I tried to stay away from girls that I knew would cause drama, or I would stay away from girls that I knew that I wouldn't get along with. All this time I thought I was a good person, and really the reality of it was that I was just surrounding myself around people that I agreed with, surrounding myself around people who agreed with me. So then I move into this house of people who, a lot of them don't agree with some of my opinions, and some of them have different opinions than me. I wasn't used to that. So getting used to that, getting used to other people's struggles, getting used to a bunch of new people, getting used to living away from my entire family, I didn't think it would affect me as much as it did. But the moment I got there, I remember telling my mom, I feel like my whole life I was missing something. The second I met them, the second I moved in, it finally felt like I found that missing piece. And I remember being downtown in the area where I had moved to. I was just like, this is it. This town is right. This moment is right. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. In this moment, I'm exactly where God has called me to be, and I had never felt that before. I go through my first year. I definitely lost focus at times, and I started to realize that I was kind of mean. I didn't realize that I had some of the hurt inside that I had. There were a lot of things that I had hidden from myself in this whole first year. I spent time talking to some leaders and discovering that, getting healing from these places that I didn't know existed. I came out of just that first year a completely different person. I got to be a part of something bigger than me. More than that, it offered me a family. And I say that because moving 13 hours away from my family was very hard. The reason why I stayed, I found myself surrounded by people who, they see my flaws, they see my faults, but more than point them out, more than be annoyed by them, they were saying, this is because you're broken and I want to help you in this area. And that was mind-blowing to me. The amount of love that I experienced while I was there, the amount of healing I got through that love, through those relationships, my 4 years in this program absolutely changed my life. I went from being a walled up, broken girl to being a masterpiece that was still pretty broken, beautiful in the eyes of God. So 5 years later, I am married to the love of my life. I say all of this because this weekend is opening ceremony for Lead Institute for their 2018-2019 year, which is crazy. I'm going, so it's kind of an emotional weekend for me, kind of an emotional week for me, because this is the first opening ceremony I get to go to since I've been out of the program. So seeing someone who was a student, who was my student when I was there, now being in my position, now doing what I was doing, is full circle the grace of God. So this weekend is just kind of bringing it up. Every single aspect of it changed me. I hope you enjoy some clips from opening ceremony. If you want more information about Lead Institute, there's a link in the description below.
So I went to Lead Institute's opening ceremony this weekend. I cried a lot, but I'm mostly proud of everyone, especially the ones that I saw as students when I was there. That's just something that you can't put into words. So I think a lot of this weekend, I was really reminiscing my time in Lead. I was reminiscing my memories, some of my favorite memories while I was in Lead. I think it's always good to like go back to your roots and reminisce on where you were and where you are now, especially if it's a place that taught you so much. So I was reminiscing on my first opening ceremony and all the emotions I felt and all the emotions that these students are feeling. And I can honestly say that I'm only where I am because of Lead and because of the things that I learned while I was there. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, be sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell, because I make new videos every week. Alright guys, see ya.